Hi guys, what's going on? It's EvoLoz and today we are back with another episode of Warhammer 2 Total War. So if you remember from the last episode, we were about to get assaulted by the garrison and army stationed at Garond. So we laid siege with our army, sort of a mix of shades, bleak swords, dread spears and a few cavalry. And the enemy army decided to come out to meet us. So we are going to have a sort of a bit of a tough fight dealing with these guys, I think. But we're just going to have to face them and see what we can do on the battlefield. Hopefully things will pan out as we planned. So we'll load into the battle. They do outnumber us. Our sort of actual initial armies are the same size, but the enemy has a reinforcing garrison to go with it. They do have largely spearmen, which our swordsmen may give a slight advantage against, hopefully. We've also got a number of archers, although they have some too. So it will be interesting to see how this is going to pan out. So we have our shades, which are our missile infantry. We're going to have to plan this one out fairly carefully. So provisionally, stick a unit of cavalry on that flank. And we can be number 4 cavalry over here. So then the bulk of our army is made up of the spearmen and swordsmen. I'm going to make these the primary unit, first unit. And we're going to have to stretch these out a little bit, I think, because we're going to have quite a few people to face off against. So the second archer unit is going to be these units of dark shades. These have to deploy here. But then, interestingly, we have all these units of shades, which will assign to Unit 5. And we've got our general, obviously, smack bang here in the centre. Naraj, something like that. Aggressive sword and seal shield. As the main target is just going to be, or her main target, I think it's a woman actually, is going to be just to target the enemy leader. So the shades can deploy quite far forwards there because they're a vanguard force and they do have quite good range. I just don't know how quick these guys are going to be. Do we get any unit information? Speed of 42 compared to 33 of the enemy infantry. So they are going to be easily caught up by cavalry. So we've got to be a bit careful there because they do have a lot of cavalry. I'll have to deploy them back a little bit. Let's go with that, I think. Okay. Spawn the battle. So there is a lot of enemy cavalry, which obviously makes me nervous. Whoa, whoa, not you. Go back. So hopefully these shades are going to open fire. Which they are doing, but they're going to have to immediately pull back. I'm immediately seeing the danger here. Come on, shades, get back behind friendly lines. That was a bit of an error. We walked them too far forwards. We've got more Dark Riders moving up to support. I'm going to quickly assign another company there. I want to try and get these dark shades out of here, really. If we can. Let's have a quick pause and have a quick look. Okay, we'll unpause there. These cavalry successfully beat the first wave of enemies. Hopefully our missile infantry are engaging, which obviously they are. We lost a lot of shades there unnecessarily, which is obviously a massive error on our part. We should have got the shades out sooner. So let's try and get shade, 3 missiles and a shade, and get them all to pull back. We're going to detoggle skirmish mode, and I want them to fall back behind our lines as sort of quickly as possible. And I want you to stop moving on your own volition. Now, I need to try and recover these cavalry. Okay, so let's try and get these guys out. Come on guys, keep pulling back. Or these guys just routing now. No, they should be able to fall back. Open fire on them. Okay, so these other people should now be firing at will, which obviously they are due into the enemy units. Some of them are routing already. We can turn off this unit information button. So these guys should have survived, which they have. So let's move in and get involved with some of the heavy combat. Or, actually, a better use. Although they're being charged by spearmen, so maybe not a better use. These guys, these shades would be good if they could target the enemy over here. Hopefully these guys are firing flat out, which they do seem to be. We'll assign the second archers to target these enemy missile infantry. I don't think these shades are particularly well positioned to actually assist. Which is at least part of the problem. The enemy general is a hybrid weapon, so they haven't actually started to attack. These people can charge in as well. So these second group have about killed that group of enemy archers, which they have done successfully. So let's target these enemies as they move forwards. These guys should still be, shades should be firing into the backs of the enemy units, which they are doing. And it looks like the enemy have got murderous prowess, which is going to give them an advantage. And there's now more enemy units moving in. So let's perhaps try and get these guys to get some fire on the enemy general. Might be a good move. If we could kill that enemy general, we could possibly do quite a lot of damage. These shades will be probably better off moving up to assist here. We are starting to get a good amount of arrow fire now into the enemy general, knocking their health down a little bit. Where is our general? Let's get her stuck into the fight. Let's see what you can do. Obviously our lord is under attack, but that's fine. I don't mind taking a bit of damage to go for the victory. These guys are pouring on fire onto some of the enemy archers. Some of our warriors are rallying. They are having a bit of a hard time holding some of the lines. Let's bring these guys back. I'd forgotten about those cavalry down on the left flank. So these guys have got a fair amount, so they can move in. We'll keep these guys back a little bit. Yeah, we are starting to weaken the enemy lord now, which is taking quite a lot of archer fire. We've still got a reasonable amount of ammunition left. My general could do with attacking further down here, look, because our line is breaking here, which is obviously is not so good. Right, let's move this shock cavalry in. We're going to try and shock cavalry. I'll bring the shock cavalry back down. We'll bring this unit of dread spears back into the fight, as well as the bleak swords. We're facing quite a few enemy opposition down here, which is giving us difficulty. I'm hoping that if we could kill the enemy leader, we might be able to get them to rout. But it doesn't currently look like that is happening. Let's try and deal with these one at a time. Let's target the enemy archers. Let's charge into the back of these guys. Hopefully it will be enough to lower their morale and get them to rout. Our shades are routing across this side of the battle, which obviously is not so good. She is fighting on and doing quite a valiant job, but there's just so many enemies, and their general has sort of re-rallied, which is obviously not good. I don't think we're going to be able to bring this fight back into our favour, which is obviously not good. Particularly now we're at war with these people. Our general is not going to be able to turn the fight on her own. I'm not sure what, if anything, is left of my archers. We'll try and put any remaining sort of shades. Where are they? Oh, these guys are still here. Okay, let's put some fire on these dread spears as they advance on us. It will be good to kill them, at least. I fear we face just too many enemies for us to be able to pull this one back. They're getting some fire on these dread spears as they advance, which is obviously a good thing. Shades might also just get involved, fight these dread spears. With any luck they'll waver and break during the fighting, which they have done. Exactly what we hoped for. Turn their fire back against the enemy general. At least if we kill them, that might be one less person to deal with, although they may just get wounded. When you kill an enemy general, it doesn't guarantee an actual kill. So if these archers have got sort of anything left in them, which they haven't got any ammunition left, these guys have still got a little bit, I think, which they can use to shoot against the enemy archers, which they're obviously doing. So the enemy general is routing, so these shades are going to turn against these enemy archers, seeing what we can do. My general really needs to get involved in the fight now. Okay, she is getting stuck in again. We want them to break while our units hold. That's what we really need. It sort of comes down to this little bit, really. Let's deal with these dread spears as they come in. We're better to deal with them before they plough into the back of our division. Some of their units are close to routing, but so are some of ours. So it's kind of a hard one to know how to deal with. Let's just engage these guys in melee combat. We should be able to beat them, I would have thought. Some of our warriors are breaking, but so their guys are routing there. Let's try and get some fire on these as one unit advances. It looks like the enemy infantry are going to hold out, whereas mine are going to rout. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be anything we can do about it. We'll try and get some more fire down, but it looks like our general is about to rout as well. I think this is a lost fight. Don't open the game information menu. Yes, unfortunately, there we go. The battle for us is over, and we did not achieve victory. That's very unfortunate. A valiant defeat, but a defeat nonetheless. We caused more casualties to the enemy, but not enough. Although we did quite a lot of damage, pretty equal damage to their army, which is kind of the main thing. So they're not going to be in a position to counterattack any more than we are. So really, we'll be looking to retreat and make it back to safe territory if we can, where we can regroup, reform, and then get ready to try again. This time we'll go back with more people and a bigger army. Mission successful, 1,000 gold and some other thing. So let's head back towards our capital. We've still got a fair bit to do. Corruption is still improving in there, which is obviously great. We obviously now have a fair bit of possible expenditure to do. So we could upgrade the port, which is obviously going to give more income, which is that's probably worth doing. Probably worth upgrading the barracks. Here's going to give much increased public order, so that's probably worth upgrading, and that is about all we can afford to do in this initial turn. We're obviously struggling a bit on the sort of finances point of view. We could go and assault something else, but then we would be suffering a bit of a loss in terms of military presence because we have ultimate darkness, which is giving us quite an advantage. So they're probably going to stay put for the moment. We have an unassigned skill point on our woman, so we'll assign that. She has nothing to equip, I don't think. And it's already assigned. Okay, so let's end that turn and move on. Bit unfortunate there, we got defeated in that battle. Obviously not great, but nothing we can do about it now. We will be back, and next time we will beat them. So the Ripperhorn tribe, hopefully they stay away. It looks like they suffered a bit of a defeat, which is good. Their raiding party is reduced. So our guys should sort of recover pretty quickly, hopefully. I'm going to let them recover a little bit because obviously if I recruit more units, that's going to affect the rate of trade and that sort of stuff. And then we're probably going to be looking. Obviously, we could build harpy roosts to get some harpies, or an altar of Cain, which is going to give us witch elves, dual dagger infantry, and a death hag, priestesses. I think which do have various abilities and powers. So we get assassins and executioners. But I also want a dragonry because I want a war hydra. That sort of thing looks absolutely awesome as well. So we can't afford to build any of that. In the meantime, it may be worth building something like an amulet house for income, since obviously I am quite poor, or black roads. Camper growth, income from trade, faction wide, and income from slaves. Okay, let's build some black roads. They seem worthwhile having, and we'll save that construction slot for either the dragonry or the other place. And let's push it to the next turn. See what our various other factions do. Nothing interesting about you. It doesn't look like the enemies we've declared war on are sort of planning any counterattack or anything. I've not seen them, so it doesn't seem to be a problem. Driven by vengeance, technology finished, so we can now upgrade. So black arc growth +3, which is obviously good. It seems a shame not to make use of this army, which is obviously a problem. How am I best going to be able to make use of this? Obviously I'm going to get negative public order if I attack Kragoth Deep. There's obviously something a bit funny going on down there, so it could be worth looking at going to war. Or we could take on Shotek Mount, but that would result in a declaration of war against these people to the north, which obviously isn't necessarily a good thing. We'll hang on one more turn. I'm hesitant to declare war on them at the moment. I think we're probably spending a fair bit of money recovering this army as well. That's why our finances aren't particularly improving. Although we should get the improved barracks and improved harbour soon. Let's perhaps go into... if we leave here... What's that going to do for our corruption? Nothing. Can this army then go into the raiding stance? Campaign movement rage, counted up 50%. Let's go into raiding stance, then hopefully next turn we can then go and start to raid into this enemy province. And whether they actually declare war or not, it may be a good source of increased income, which is obviously what we need very desperately at this moment in time. So what are these people approaching us? What do they want? Defensive alliance, and they'll give me 300. That's fine. Happy to do that. Although hopefully they won't go to war next turn. It's obviously affecting public order, I think, by raiding. But hopefully, if we start raiding enemy territory, it shouldn't affect us too bad. Minus 42 from characters raiding, I think. Even if I move over here? No, less of a problem. And we are now doing raiding, which should obviously be only a good thing. So they're getting a bit of negative growth in the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, but our technology still accounts for that, so it's not really a problem for us at the moment. We have got a spare building there, so we could build a bit more. I was going to have a quick look again at this advanced barracks. So the Altar of Khan requires 4,000, so it's going to be a while before we can actually afford to do that. These people have still got a bit longer before they're upgraded. We may have access to some other units. So we've got a Reap Bolt Thrower, which is changed. Then we've got also, I believe, the Black Ark Corsairs Handbow. We should have the Black Ark Corsairs, which we do, which have not too bad upkeep. And these guys are very effective on the hand-to-hand. 75 units per unit, so they should be pretty effective at dealing with the enemies. Compared to the 90 of them, yeah, their armour and aggressiveness more than makes up for it. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. So we can deal with that. The technology, obviously we've got to do all these ones anyway. So Forge to Kill, weapon strength for our Dread Spears, etc, etc, probably quite useful. Speed for some of the cold units, and income from Slave Pen. So we'll go Forge to Kill as the primary one to deal with first. Should it increase our attack. We'll get this army back up to strength, and then we'll go and have another go at Garond. See if we can be a bit more successful. What could be upgraded here in this town? We could do Slave Gate as a defence. Increased growth. We've not really got a lot of money to do anything else. Oops, I'm missing the... Why can't that one? Can you have insufficient funds? Oh, I spent all my money, that's why. We'll wait till the next turn. Hopefully we'll have a bit more income. So I'll wait for the various people to do their turns. Nothing dramatic happening, obviously, by the looks of it. And there we go. It's the end of those lies. Yeah, we got a bit of income that turn. We should keep raiding further down. Obviously, we are still getting negative population growth here, so maybe it would be a good idea to build some torture pens. It's going to give it increased public order. Yeah, that seems like a fairly wise investment. Let's do that, and then as our population still grows, and then that will allow us to be free to go to war with the Kragoth Deep, which is obviously the next big sort of thing we have to deal with. We're trying to avoid the sort of sunny desert type uninhabitable climates, but we'll deal with the unpleasant climates. So our army is basically back up to full strength in terms of health. Gained a little bit, few of the units gained a little bit of experience from all the fighting. And then look what else we're going to sort of upgrade everyone with. What did we lose? So we've got a fair bit of melee infantry again. Most of our shades survived, and they did, but none of the cavalry seemed to survive. But not a lot of money, so we can recruit one. Great, but there we go. That's the cost of spending all our money. Turn after this, we'll then recruit the rest of the army we need and go back to war to Garond, and hopefully be a bit more successful the second time round. So wait for the enemies or various other nations to finish their turn. Population surplus 3, so maybe I have to upgrade another building, my main settlement building, but we don't really have the money to do so at the moment. So I might put a bolt thrower in there as a piece of artillery, and another 2 cavalry, which has obviously spent all my money for this turn. This guy is hopefully generating a little bit of money by raiding. Should also be generating some slaves by the looks of it. To receive slaves. No more slaves. Receive slaves. Yeah, slaves perhaps cause... I'm not sure what slaves do really. I guess they generate more income but cause more public disorder. Sounds like the sort of thing that you'd normally expect. Our corruption is still improving, so that's fine. We can perhaps raid this minor settlement. We'll do nothing with it. I want to try and get out of the raiding mode and just capture this place. I think it probably takes me a turn to... Yeah, it takes me a turn to get out of just to the normal mode. So next turn we can capture or go to war with Kragoth Deep. It may be possibly inhabited by some more Skaven. I do not know. I guess we'll soon find out. Though no one seemed to resist our raids at our attempts at raiding, so hopefully there's no one in there and we won't have much of a fight to capture it. We could certainly do with the income. That's the main thing I know. I really need this gold mine from this place because we're just desperately poor now. So our army is pretty much back up to strength. Would it be worth building another unit of Corsairs and waiting another turn?
With noble purpose.
We'll cancel that. Move our army up to the border.
Noble of Nagaroth.
And then recruit another unit of Black Ark Corsairs. And then turn after next turn we can then advance back into enemy territory and be ready to go back to war with these guys and hopefully be a bit more successful than we have on previous turns. So we've finished our road, so they should have given us slightly increase in trade, which they may have done minor, slightly. I think there's also a requirement in some of the technologies as well. So this guy should now, in theory... Or was that next turn? I didn't finish that, did I? I want to actually attack Kragoth Deep, not just raid it. Or I perhaps have to colonise it. It would cost me to set up a settlement. Number of soldiers. Oh, if I want to actually... It's a complete ruin. Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't realised that was quite how it was going to pan out. So these guys have colonised these little places. So I could colonise it and it would cost me a lot of soldiers. Let's do that then. We'll have to then wait for the army basically to recover itself, I believe. So we're getting positive public order from sort of the increasing our military presence that we've now regained, which is obviously great. So that will increase. We get a very small amount of money from here, but really not a lot. Nothing compared to what the army costs. So hopefully next turn we'll have enough to turn this into a black spire. We'll get an open building and we can go from there. So let's quickly end this turn and see if anything dramatic happens. And see where we are going to go from there.
I am king of the Juki, leader of the merciless host.
Okay, they want a military alliance. Well, that's fine. Good to be friendly with at least some people where they protect our southern borders. So that's no bad thing. The Galak Bludge Gorge. God, they sound very fearsome. Not something I'm really interested in watching though. So we have detected a force belonging to the Ripperhorn tribe attempting to lay ambush. Where? Oh, down there. Well, not my problem. And Malekith has gained a public order point, which is obviously good, and is gained to the next level. So we'll do increased ammunition and reload time for his archers and bolt throwers, which is obviously good. I think after this we'll give him access to rally, which is one of the abilities, and then we'll have all these things called the untrustworthy, etc, etc, and all more the high tier abilities. I think the army is recovering, slowly growing back up to strength after having to settle this place, and we'll use a bit of money to build this Kragoth Deep back into a black spire. It's got a reasonable amount of population surplus, so this place should go really quickly. So we've done that, and this unit got recruited, so we'll advance back into the enemy territory and head towards Grond again. See if we can deal with them better this time. But I think that will have to do for this episode. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. We are starting to get there, hopefully. Obviously things didn't go very well for us, but hopefully this time things will head a bit better in episode 5 when we again lay siege to Garond. So thanks for watching this episode, guys. If you have enjoyed it, please smash that like button. Subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. I also do quite a lot of Total War arena gameplay. I don't know if that's a game any of you sort of play. If you're watching this and you don't play Total War Arena, check out some of the videos on it. It might be something you quite enjoy. It's basically a traditional Total War game, but massively multiplayer battles. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you on the next episode.